Okay, so I hope that you have either a piece of paper and a pen or you have something to type on. What I really want to do tonight is give you the starting building blocks to be able to write your story. But this process is not able to be done in a 30-minute call. Like this is going to take days of you coming back to this. My thought is if you're doing pen and paper tonight, you're getting kind of like the chunks of the story written down. But I think ideally you would get this on a computer so that you could have it typed up. And then as you're kind of thinking about it, you're like, oh, but there was also this that kind of played into this, so that you can just like go right into the story and start typing that piece of it. But the goal is to get the entire thing typed out after some deep reflection, which I have some questions for you to kind of chew on tonight, so that you can essentially take this story and break it up into chunks. And then you have content to post online for days and days and days. And you can take pieces of it and talk about this to relate to other people who maybe went through something similar. This is going to help you hone in on who you're talking to. It's going to help you know, okay, who am I and who do I really want to connect with? Because there honestly isn't anything fun about hosting an accountability group with a bunch of people that don't get you. Like it's painful. When I first started, I was like, I will sign anybody up. I just want to help people and I want to see my paycheck grow. And I was just like throwing the net out as wide as possible. And I had people in there that just really weren't willing to do the work like I was. And it just grinded my gears. I was like, I don't get you. I don't understand how you just can't just figure this out and do this. Like they weren't my people. They weren't ready. They saw the results and thought, oh, that's easy. No, this isn't easy. And so I make sure that I talk about like this is hard work, so that I make sure that the people signing up with me know that I want them to work really hard. So it's just going to help you develop your sense of self-awareness, but also know exactly who you're talking to and give you ideas of other groups of people that maybe you want to connect with. One example before we dive into this, when I told Candace to do this, it took her many, many days, but she didn't realize until doing this activity how much her college sports like stuff. I wasn't in college sports, so I'm not going to use the right words, but the fact that she was in like really competitive college sports, how that played into her story and her journey, because her whole life she had things planned for her. She had practices. She didn't have to worry about what she ate because she was burning so many calories. Like all of those things played into her relationship with her body and with food and everything. So that when she got out of that, suddenly like nothing was the same, you know, like she had to relearn everything. So this is something that gives her the tools to be able to have somebody essentially tell her what to do for her workouts like she did in college. That's not my story. So I would never speak about that in any of my content, but this activity helped her realize that that was a whole nother set of people that she could connect with. So this is vital. If you are wanting to grow your business, you have to know your story. You have to know who you're talking to. And it should just be like on repeat. It is not annoying to talk about your story and your journey over and over and over again, because your people never get annoyed by hearing it. They don't. The other coaches in the network that I look up to, I know their stories inside and out. When I go creep on their pages, when I'm done with my tracker, they're talking about the same thing at least once a week. They're sharing their story, and it's the same story that I have read a number of times, and it never annoys me. So I want to start with this. So jot down, I don't know, whatever way your brain works the best. I don't know if this is going to be bullet points or if you're going to jot down some sentences, but this is where we're going to put pen to paper, or you're going to start typing. We're going to start at the end of the story essentially right now, and we're going to work our way backwards. So what are the things that brought you to your very first accountability group? So things I want you to think about, because I need you to get emotional in these stories. That's how you're going to draw your readers in. I want to know, what were you feeling before you signed up? Was there a specific event in your life that made you sign up? Did you have a goal in mind when you signed up? I'm going to give us like a minute just to like brain dump everything. I'm going to be doing the same exact activity. So thoughts, feelings, event, goal, like where were you right before you joined your very first accountability group? What was going through your head? Give us just 1 minute here. All right, so hopefully you have at least a starting point of like the girl right before you joined your first group. Now, at the end of any time you're posting about your journey, you're always going to want to tie in the very end of the story, which is the now, the after, the now that I know what working out and eating healthy does for me. This is how I feel now. So I do want us to at least like brain dump that piece of it before we start working backwards. So what is the now? What is the new you experiencing? What are you feeling? What do you see in the mirror? What do you talk about? What are the thoughts that go through your head? So just to share some of the things that I wrote down, before Beachbody, I felt lost. I felt like a failure because I kept quitting on everything that I was trying to do. I couldn't fit into half of my clothes. I was what people call skinny fat. I felt alone because of that. And I knew I wanted to work hard. I wanted to be proud of my results. I didn't want a quick fix that felt fake to me. I wanted to put in the work. How I feel now, I feel confident. I have tools for success. I have new friendships. I have joy. I have purpose in my life. So that right there is a post in and of itself. Like I could make these into sentences and I could create a post. But I think where the magic happens, where we can actually have dozens of ideas, is if we take a step back a little bit more. So before your Beachbody experience, you had kind of that draw the line in the sand moment that we just kind of brain dumped. But what things happened maybe a year or two before that that led you to that point? What were you doing? What life events, what changes were happening that led you to get to that point? What were those things? So let's jot those down. Does somebody want to share something from this section? Just to spur ideas for the rest of us? Anyone have any events or things that led you?
I think my story is just slightly different because I had been working out. I had lost a boatload of weight
Mm-hmm.
and I had been working out at a gym,
Mm-hmm.
but I was switching jobs. I was losing my gym membership because I can't afford that. I'm sorry. That's like too much. So I had been working out, and when I was working there, I was missing the classes. I wasn't able to go to classes. So I didn't have the support.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
So mine's a little bit different. It's not like I went from it's just different.
Yeah, no, I love
So
it. We
I
all
don't
need
know.
those different stories coming into it. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That is part of your story, and that is going to connect with other gym goers that are like, I can't do this anymore. You know? So I love that. Anyone else?
I had that my morning sucked. Like I never woke up feeling rested. I actually took a lot of personal days because I just never woke up feeling like rested. I saw numbers on the scale that I had never seen before. They were like the heaviest I'd ever been. Um, yeah, that's what I had. Those are my biggest ones, and then nothing in my closet fit. I 100% relied on elastic waistbands.
Okay, so let's dig back a little bit further. So before this, maybe this would be college for you. Were there any conversations with people that maybe changed a relationship with exercise or food or your mental health or made you see things differently? One thing for me, I vividly remember where I was when I was in college and my mom said, out of the blue, which I had never thought of before, but out of the blue, she said, I'm so sorry I gave you my wide hips. And I had never thought that I had wide hips before. And she didn't mean it maliciously. She wasn't like saying that I looked bad, but it's an insecurity of hers. And she saw my body shape. And so she felt bad. And I don't look at myself and think I had wide hips, but for 5-6 years, I was now self-conscious about how wide my hips were. So do you have events that happened, in your early 20s, or maybe you're jumping back to high school, or were there any things that made you think of your body differently? Or in Candace's situation with her college days, she was working out like every single day. She had everything mapped out for her. Everybody is going to have a different story. Maybe you didn't have a traumatic comment or conversation, and that's okay. But were there things in your life that maybe positively or negatively made you think differently about health or mental health or wellness in any way? So jot those down, get them out there. We need to start filling in all the pieces. And then if you haven't yet, jump back to high school for me, Phi-Ed brought my GPA down. I hated Phi-Ed. It was my least favorite class. I hated sweating. It was, yeah, I would have had straight A's other than Phi-Ed because I didn't like to participate. So that is part of my story, is I would make fun of people who worked out, rolled my eyes at people who ate healthy. And so that was like my identity. And so when I felt the nudge to coach, that played into it because I was like, nobody's going to trust me. I've spent my whole life making fun of healthy people. And now I'm going to be like, ooh, look at me, do my healthy stuff. So I had the imposter syndrome like crazy. So that's part of my story that plays into who I am and how I got here and the struggles that I overcame. So are there things from your childhood or your high school days that are part of your story and your journey? Jot those down. Anyone just now realizing maybe something from earlier days that's playing into where you're at now that is willing to share? And it doesn't have to be negative. It could be a positive thing, but maybe having an aha moment of maybe a piece of their story that they haven't shared yet on social media.
This is where Candace always says, this is my struggle. This is so hard for me. I'm Candace's doppelganger. Well, she's mine. I used to babysit for her. But we're like identical. I feel like I don't have a story. I've always worked out. And I feel like right now is like, well, I played varsity sports as an 8th grader. Well, there's where my drive came from. Candace's dad, in my ear 24/7 telling me, push, push, push. You can do this. If you want to be great, you got to do great. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, writing that down right now, I'm just like, oh, well, that's probably where it came from. That's why I played intramurals in college. And that's why I've continued to be in shape and work out every day and to eat right. Mm-hmm. That's my struggle. It's like, I don't have a story. I've always worked out. I've always watched what I ate. I've always been motivated. So it's like, okay, I was bored. I was missing something in my life. I needed something more.
Yeah.
And that's my story. And it's like, that's it.
Yeah. And you need to.
No, that's it. I just needed more.
But there's other people out there with those exact same like situations of growing up with this in their ear the whole time. And now they're at a point where they're like, okay, I am not a part of a team. I miss being a part of something like that. And that's where you can speak right into their hearts of like, this was that missing thing that I couldn't put my finger on.
No, and I couldn't. I mean, I worked out for many years. I was a bod customer for like 8 years before I joined Candace. And I was just like, I need more. I got married. I had the children. I went back to college 2 more times after that. Okay, what else? What's next? What else can I do? I'm not having any more kids. So
right. Well, what you just said right there would be an amazing post. Like, I had this. I've checked off all these boxes, but yet I still felt like there was something out there for me, I love it. Okay. Love it.
See, and I had the opposite because I refused to join any like competitive. Well, I played field hockey as a 7th and 8th grader, but my asthma was so bad as a kid. Like I knew how to play my position well. And so they would always put me in. I literally came off the field with blue fingernails. My fingernails were blue. I could not breathe.
Mhm.
So that kind of took me out of like competitive sports, but I cheered. But I got dog biscuits thrown at me.
What?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because I wasn't a football cheerleader.
Oh,
I cheered for
barf.
basketball. Oh yeah. We got dog biscuits thrown at us. We also competed. I was on a competition squad too, but that didn't matter. I wasn't a football cheerleader, so I wasn't real. But so yeah, and then being in gym class, I hated gym.
Oh my
Hated
God.
gym.
It's complete
Didn't want to
opposite
be
of me. You
there.
guys are like complete opposite of me.
I didn't want to be there because
Competition sports. What? Yeah.
because my every move I made was nitpicked by everybody in the class. Why would I want to be a part of that? Why would I want to do that? I'm not going to go play basketball or softball with y'all. Not if you're going to pick on me every move
Yeah.
I make. Forget
That
it.
sounds toxic. That's no good.
Joys
No.
of small towns. It wasn't like that for me. I was blessed.
No.
Anybody else have any aha moments or maybe something about their story that they hadn't thought about sharing about? And it's okay if not. I just like hearing other perspectives. And honestly, it's the best reminder to all of us that all of us have something different to bring to the table, which is the most beautiful thing ever. Because if we were all cookie cutters of each other, then we would all be trying to help the same exact people. And that's not going to work. We all need to help different people. We all need our voices out there to be making those connections and changing people's lives.
I guess I kind of feel like I have like I don't know, like your typical story. Like I played sports since I was in like 5th grade, like all up through high school. And then after high school, it was okay, go to college, didn't play any sports though. I didn't really like drink a whole lot until I turned 21. And then I started drinking a little bit. And then gained a little bit of weight from that. And then I moved from my waitress job to a desk job. And that's when it hit me. That's
Mhm.
when I started gaining weight, like not a lot of weight. I mean, when I think about where or how much weight I did gain from like where I was in high school, I mean, it was 20 pounds. Like, did it feel like, did it feel like it was 20 pounds? Nope, not as I was putting it on. But then like I got to a certain point and I was like, oh wow, like, I mean, and I like super duper uncomfortable? No, but like I didn't want to get to the point where I was like really just hated everything.
Mhm.
It just took, having to buy like a size bigger here and then another size bigger. And you know, then my jeans were just a little bit too tight. And like I've always been, I mean, like in my waist and stuff, I've always been smaller. Like I'm not used to having like a muffin top.
Mhm.
And so when that started to happen, I was like, oh my, like I need to do something about this. And
Mhm.
that's kind of when I decided to take charge, I guess.
And I think the most common theme with pretty much everyone on this team is the very first thing they tell me when we start talking about, okay, what is your story, is, well, it's just kind of a regular story. I don't really have a story because it's just kind of boring. And just in listening to all of you, like none of you have the same story as me. Like nobody has the exact same, like all of these things that I wrote down. Like I have a whole page of stuff and I'm pretty much guaranteeing that nobody has all the same stuff as me. So you have a regular story, which is freaking awesome because everybody else on the planet has a regular story and they're going to connect with you. You are going to connect with the people that were active and now they're at a desk job and they're not moving. And they're like, whoa, this year of working from home, sitting on my couch, doing Zoom meetings has taken a toll on my body, you know? Everybody has a different chunk of people that they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're in my brain. That is one of the best messages you can get. When you really get your story and you get the emotions of what you were feeling and you get it typed out, when somebody messages you and is like, are you in my brain because I could have written what you wrote? That's like the magical moment when you're like, okay, I'm telling my actual story now, and people get it and they're feeling it and they don't want to feel this way anymore either. So that's when you can draw that emotion out of people, they're ready. They're ready to jump into a group with you. So this is everything, knowing who you are and who you're talking to. So take time to do this. Type this up, make these into sentences, because it's going to make your life so easy, you guys. You're going to have copy pastable content for yourself for months to come, until maybe you have a different addition to your story because you go through something else, and so you're going to be able to connect with even more people. So get this written up, because this is going to be where you're sitting it down at night and you're like, I don't know what to post. Well, you can go back to this document that you typed up and be like, okay, I'm going to talk about this chunk of my life tonight. It's already written up. It's ready to go. It's going to make your life so easy. You're going to have a stockpile of pictures, because you took your ring light and your selfie and you did a bunch of outfit changes, and you've got stockpile of pictures on your phone, and you're gonna be like, all right, I'm getting to work like a freaking boss. So take time to do this, please, you guys. It will help you so much. Do you have any questions on this before we end tonight? Anything that you're wondering about?
I just want to ask a quick question about so I just was wondering how to deal with this, because I haven't been doing the new year, new you type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Leading up to January, I was like, you don't need to wait till January 1. Like, do it now. Like,
Right.
don't wait, just do it. Every day's a new day. And I still am kind of riding that bandwagon. But someone that I know she's fit. She's one of my sorority sisters. She's, but December 31st, she posted, buckle up kids, here comes the MLMs with the shakes and I'm like, no. I'm like, I kind of took offense to it at first,
Mm-hmm.
because, and then everybody underneath is commenting, oh yeah, and I'm like, wait, so I backed off. I didn't do anything because I know she can see my posts. I know she
Mhm.
sees them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily say exactly what I'm doing. I'm just saying, posting my sweaty selfie or a quick video clip, and then saying something, and then I post it out there. So how do you deal with that though? Like if somebody is like, oh, negative Nancy.
I click the 3 dots by their name and I go unfollow. You don't have to if they're on Facebook, you don't have to unfriend them, but you can unfollow them and you never see their garbage and negative energy ever again. And that way they can still see you if they really want to. If they want to see the MLMs or whatever,
it was
bye,
just
Felicia.
I know, it just immediately took me back. I was like, what?
Yeah, anything that makes me feel less than or unworthy or offended, I just don't have energy or time for anymore. I used to really ruminate on it. I was the best ruminator out there. But now I'm just like, oh, as soon as I feel that tightness in my chest, I'm like, not my person, unfollow. And it's not even I want to be very careful to say that I really hate cancel culture. But I feel like cancel culture right now is where somebody doesn't agree with you or they have a different opposing view on something. But if they're not being negative, I'm not going to unfollow them. I want other people to have other opinions, but as soon as they start throwing like shade and hate and just like extreme negativity and putting other people down, I don't have any time for that. So you need to protect your space. You need to protect your circle of people. You need to, when you have those situations, first unfollow. And if you ever need to see her stuff again, you can just type in her name and if you want to see what she's up to. But like, you don't need that like bombardment in your news feed coming at you. Like, you just have to set that boundary. Be like, nope.
And I don't even think it was really geared toward me. I think it was just a
Right.
general statement. I don't think it was anything. I think it was just a general statement because she's right. She's right because everybody January 1 starts posting all these things about these fancy shakes and this, that, and the other, and take this pill, drink this tea, boil this water with this lemon
Right.
in it or whatever. But and it's that easy. Well, no, it's not.
No.
And it's work.
Right.
It's always going to be work. It has
Right.
to become a lifestyle.
Right.
So I also kind of jumped on that too afterwards as I was posting. So
Which is a perfect way to combat that and be like,
no,
there are so many quick fixes out there right now, especially being January, but we all know that it's going to take hard work no matter what, especially if you want this to last longer than a month. Like you got to do it. You got to do it. I love that question though, because it's so relatable to all of us. Anybody else? Anything about writing your story or just any random question? Did you see the announcements on the Self Love Dynasty page from Super Saturday? So pumped about all of it. It's so good. Does anyone have questions on that? I mean, I certainly don't have all the answers. I haven't read all the FAQs, but any questions on any of the new stuff coming out?
I'm a little more excited about the salted caramel Shakeology that's supposed to be coming out on March 23rd. Not gonna lie.
I'm excited to learn about that new preferred customer
Yeah, it sounds like
versus coaching.
Yeah. So basically, the only difference, some people really struggle with putting in their social security number. So they won't have to do that. And they won't obviously have the opportunity to earn money or bonuses or anything like that, but they're still going to get early access, just like coaches do for new programs. They still have to pay $15.95 a month and they get 25% off. So they get those benefits, they just can't earn income. And that you can switch in between being a preferred customer and a discount coach or coach super easy, I guess. That information, I don't know how that happens, but I'm assuming it's just an online form where you have to just fill in with your social security number and like officially become a coach. But it's so cool that they actually go in your downline and they're basically, for us as uplines, when they sign up, it's no different than signing up a coach, but they don't have to be a coach. It's so cool. I'm excited about we'll end on this, the business activity tracker. I don't know who watched Super Saturday to like see the full like tour of it, but I think it was Kim Carver. Was he the one who was talking about it? Oh my gosh. It's in the coach office. It's digital. You can set timers on the certain chunks of the tracker to like be like, I need to finish this in 10 minutes. And you set it and it like tracks how much you're doing and gives you like a green thing if you finish your task. And then you can opt to have your upline be able to see your business activity tracker so that you can like have an added level of accountability. Like it is so interactive and I'm just pumped just to see it and play with it. And it's mobile friendly. They already said like it's super like good to see from a desktop or your phone. So you can take it everywhere. You don't have to print out the sheets. It's just like check, 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 check. Little list checker in me is just happy about it. So I'm pumped to see how that all works. But yeah. Anything else from then? Super Saturday announcements or tonight? All right. Well, I won't keep you guys. Thanks for hopping on. Love you all and see you later.